chapter 17. I could read down to 11.
I think you should.
Okay. All right, here we go. Now, Ahithophel,
Hmm? Ahithophel.
Ahithophel urged Absalom, let me choose 1,200 men to start out after David tonight. I will catch up with him while he is weary and discouraged. And his troops will panic and everyone will run away. Then I will kill only the king and I will bring the people back to you as a bride returns to her husband. After all, it is only one man's life that you seek. Then you will be at peace with all the people. This plan seemed good to Absalom and to all the elders of Israel. Can we do a quick recap? I got to go back to 16 here real quick.
Sure. If you remember, Absalom, right, is David's son. He's trying to, he took Israel has kind of like now voted him in, you know, his people, his group, and he's trying to take over the throne. And basically, David's like, "Oh, it's my son. I don't want to kill my son, right?" But then you remember he gets it. Ahithophel. He advises Absalom and says, "Hey, go to the throne, move in,
Yeah.
and then go sleep with all David's concubines."
Horrible.
Yeah, and then you'll make yourself king by like demand. So
yeah, last chapter was amazing as we talked about that one guy that was taunting David.
Ziba, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then how David took the high road and says, what do I care about you and your words?
Exactly.
Almost like sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Like my own son is trying to kill me. And also, you're talking to a man that dances for the Lord. You're talking to a man that lives for the Lord. I don't live for the castle. I don't live to please you, right? I live for God. You know, David's mindset with all of this is fascinating. You know, we can all learn from it. So, okay, yes, good recap on that, Brian. Thank you.
Truly, you know, it's funny when you live for the Lord, John, and you don't live for yourself. It's hard to mess with you. You're not really offended. You don't get angry. You know what I mean? God is your source, not people's opinions.
Yeah, that's why Samson. I love that you said that, Brian. Samson said, "Take her down. Take it down, God."
Yeah. Let me die with the Philistines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it.
Good one.
Kind of reminds me again, you know, Denzel in Book of Eli. You know, he's like he's on a mission, man. Nobody can hurt him. Nobody can offend him and upset him and get him off track. He has so much faith in God to get that Bible to San Francisco that nothing will stop him.
So. You nailed it.
Let's see here. Hushai counters Ahithophel's advice. But then Absalom said, "Bring in Hushai, the Archite. Let's see what he thinks about this." When Hushai arrived, Absalom told him what Ahithophel had said. Then he asked, "What is your opinion? Should we follow Ahithophel's advice? If not, what do you suggest?" Well, quote, "Well," Hushai replied to Absalom, "this time Ahithophel has made a mistake. You know your father and his men. They are mighty warriors. Right now they are..." Yes, baby? What's that say?
It's okay if you could get paper and pencil.
Okay, well, here's some paper. And here's a pen. And there's some more downstairs, okay? I'm on the radio. You shut the door, baby?
Yeah.
Thank you. I love you.
Me too.
All right, sorry about that. They are mighty warriors. Right now they are as enraged as a mother bear who has been robbed of her cubs.
Mm,
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Oh, I like that line. And remember that your father is an experienced man of war. I'd be shaking in my boots right now, Brian, if I was Absalom.
Yeah, the man's deadly, King David.
He won't be spending the night among the troops. He has probably already hidden in some pit or cave. And when he comes out and attacks and a few of your men will fall. There will be panic among your troops, and the word will spread that Absalom's men are being slaughtered. Then even the bravest soldiers, though they have the heart of a lion, will be paralyzed with fear. For all Israel knows what a mighty warrior your father is and how courageous his men are. Well, this guy is some cold water poured on Absalom's face.
Yeah, right. How's that for a warning?
Yeah.
You go up against this guy, it's over, baby. Paralyzed with fear. People are going to be dead. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad this guy came up and spoke up. You got 11 here.
I recommend, verse 11, that you mobilize the entire army of Israel, bringing them from as far away as Dan in the north and Beersheba in the south. That way you will have an army as numerous as the sands on the seashore. And I advise that you personally lead the troops. When we find David, we'll fall on him like dew that falls on the ground. Then neither he nor any of his men will be left alive. And if David were to escape into some town, you will have all Israel there at your command. Then we can take ropes and drag the walls of the town into the nearest valley until every stone is unturned. Then Absalom and all the men of Israel said, Hushai's advice is better than Ahithophel's, for the Lord had determined to defeat the counsel of Ahithophel, which really was the better plan, so that he could bring disaster on Absalom.
Mm.
So the men of Israel here, notice, are clearly listening to the wrong advice. They're making this stuff up.
Mm.
You know, they don't know what the Lord's mind is in this anyway. They're saying the Lord determined this,
Mm.
and
Right. Yeah.
they're wrong. So Hushai warns David to escape. Verse 15, Hushai told Zadok and Abithar, the priests, what Ahithophel had said to Absalom and the elders of Israel, and what he himself had advised it instead. Quick, he told them, find David and urge him not to stay at the shadows of the Jordan River tonight. He must go across at once into the wilderness beyond. Otherwise, he will die, and his entire army with him. Jonathan and Ahimaaz had been staying at En Rogel, so as not to be seen entering and leaving the city. Arrangements had been made for a servant girl to bring them the message they were to take to King David. But a boy spotted them in En Rogel, and he told Absalom about it. So they quickly escaped to Bar-Harum, where a man hid down inside a well in his courtyard. The man's wife put a cloth over the top of the well and scattered grain on it to dry in the sun, so no one suspected they were there. When Absalom's men arrived, they asked her, have you seen Ahimaaz and Jonathan? The woman replied, they were here, but they crossed over the brook. Absalom's men looked for them without success and returned to Jerusalem. So you notice here, you have people on David's side hiding his messengers and so on. So it's good. So I think the core still love David.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of was it Moses with Charlotte the Rahab who
Joshua.
lied? It was Joshua. I'm sorry. It was Joshua. Yes.
That was
or
Joshua and his he sent out a couple of warriors.
yeah, and then the lady, the prostitute, right?
Yeah, Rahab, right?
Rahab lied deceived her own army
Mm-hmm.
because because that's a whole podcast. Because of God, because she felt the Lord and accepted God, and
Right.
you could almost say that was the time she got saved.
Right. No, seriously, that's
Kind of like Ruth 1:16.
You nailed it
Sorry.
there. She committed to the Most High, right there. I choose God's way, not the kingdom of the city I live in. You know,
Mm, I
and
love
right there,
that.
God sees her heart. You know, and then he has great faith.
I love that. I love when people's heart they open up to God,
Right.
no matter where you are in life and who you are. That's a great story there, where she fought not for Joshua, but she fought for God to help Joshua in his right hand man down. So it's just really nice to see.
Absolutely.
Kind of similar to here with this lady.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like JL, another one, right? The king comes in and she's like, okay, now it's my opportunity to do the work of the Lord. You know, stake in the temple, and so praise God for these mighty women who stand
Yeah.
up against fear and against tyranny and do the Lord's work.
Yeah, the lady took the rock and killed, I should say almost killed, when she threw it down his face and he was dying. Remember? And he said, "Kill me so that I don't be murdered by a woman."
Yeah.
And the servant wouldn't kill him, so he killed himself.
Uh-huh.
Who was that? It was a horrible king, horrible person.
Name,
Gosh, it's been a while. We read this. It's been in our journey. I just can't remember. Remember that she wham threw the rock on his face.
right. Yeah, Abimelech said that.
Oh yes, Abimelech.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's like, tell his servant to do it. Draw your sword and kill me, right? A woman killed.
Well,
So,
yeah, it's like nobody could kill this guy, but this woman said, "I got him." Right? Like David said, "I'll fight him to Goliath."
Yeah, I'll fight him.
So we digress, but yeah, we can. It's just it's a great point you make, Brian.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. All right, verse 21. Then the two men crawled out of the well and hurried on to King David. Quick, they told him, cross the Jordan tonight. And they told him how Ahithophel had advised that he be captured and killed. So David and all the people with him went across the Jordan River during the night, and they were all on the other bank before dawn.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. When Ahithophel realized that his advice had not been followed, he saddled his donkey and went to his hometown, set his affairs in order, and hanged himself. He died there and was buried in the family tomb. Well, look at that. This guy advising the wrong king, coming against God's anointed king, basically, and God. And he finally couldn't take it anymore.
Well, it kind of reminds me of I'm spacing his name, but the guy that turned on Jesus,
Judas.
Judas.
Pretty much.
Judas killed himself out of his overall shame and disgust over turning Jesus in.
Yeah. This guy Ahithophel's now known for betraying David for all eternity, just like Judas is known for betraying the King of Kings.
Right.
Now, of course, no one should hang himself. He should have fallen down, put his face in the ground, and said, "Lord, Lord, forgive me. What have I done? Take me back."
Yeah, he should have. I mean, That's never a way to go. It's really sad.
No, you're right. It's really sad. Really sad. Never. There's always forgiveness. There's always a way out. A lot of times though, when this happens, they say people think there's no way out, so I must end it. And God is always there to rescue you, no matter what you've done. He is always there to pick you up, to grab you by the hand, embrace you,
Right.
and bring you to the
Right.
top. So sad situation for Ahithophel. But it's watch out. There's demons out there. When you go against God, you open yourself up to Satan's world.
Mhm.
And it's not a good thing. Verse 24. David soon arrived at Mahanaim. By now, Absalom had mobilized the entire army of Israel and was leading his troops across the Jordan River. Looks bad, John. This looks bad. The whole army coming against David and his crew. Absalom had appointed Amasa and commander of his army, replacing Joab, who had been commander under David. Amasa was Joab's cousin. His father was Jether, an Ishmaelite. His mother, Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, was the sister of Joab's mother, Zeruiah. Absalom and the Israelite army set up camp in the land of Gilead.
And let's not forget that Absalom is David's son.
Right.
Let's do a little recap. Absalom is the son who killed his brother, the brother that raped his sister, right? And then Absalom ran away, then missed his dad so much, and because the dad was obviously very mad at him. And then, it was actually a beautiful story. That's the weird thing about this, is that this turn here is that Absalom's, basically came back to his dad. His dad said, okay, but his dad didn't want anything to do with them. But after 3 years, he had a wife and a family. They reunited. Absalom hit the ground in sorrow and pain. And King David walked up and grabbed his face, as I see in my head, and kissed his forehead. And they hugged and said, I love you. And it was an amazing chapter. I remember, getting teary-eyed. It was just one of the best chapters in the Bible so far. And then you think everything's good. And then this Absalom guy, the son of David, turns evil again.
Yeah, but when you think about it, like, it was Tamar, right? Tamar's sister. Remember what happened? When he did that, he raped her. Something changed on the inside of it. He got evil. His heart became stone or something. And you're right. All those things happened. He followed the path of the darkness, took over. Let's not forget. Because look, it sounds like, why is he doing this? Why is he fighting against his own father, John? Well, you can go down a path where you forget all normal thinking.
Yeah, the dark consumes you.
Right.
Right. It's I hate to say this reading the Bible right now. I don't mean to make this comparison, but it's kind of like Star Wars. Like, we just got done watching the third Star Wars movie, the ones that were made in the 2000s, because we're going in order with my son.
So cool.
And so you see Luke Skywalker. Wait, right? No, Luke is coming up. I'm sorry. Anakin. I'm sorry. You see Anakin slowly start to turn dark. Like, even my son, Lincoln, who's 7 years old, noticed, like, all throughout the third movie how dark Anakin was turning.
Right.
And, obviously, he turns dark and goes fully over into the dark side. And it's actually really sad. I remember that, when he gets his, arm and legs cut off, and he's, about to die from the lava, and he's reaching out, and he's crying and yelling, and it's just a sad scene. And that's like, you're seeing, like, what the darkness can do to someone, how it can consume you.
Yeah.
It's just really sad.
True. That's a great example. Remember, it brings me back to what Donnie said, John. All truth comes from the Bible. All stories come from the Bible. I mean, this is the first thing that ever written down, you know. So
Yeah.
they took that comparison here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great comparison because I think, you know, like almost the exact same stories. And James on the chat board says goes back to David, what he did to Uriah. You remember Uriah, Bathsheba's husband, and
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like, hey, he plotted against Uriah to cover up his
Wait,
own
I'll
sin.
get a picture for you.
Wow, it's beautiful, honey. Oh, wow, can I put it up in my office?
Daddy, this says, "Dear Dad, my love you."
Uh-huh.
Tell everybody. Tell everybody.
Cute.
It's okay. It's just Uncle Brian. Tell everybody what it says.
It's
Okay, well, you know what? Daddy's on the radio. I'm almost done, okay? I'm
Gotta love
almost
that.
done.
Gotta love that.
Thank you, princess. Come here. Come here. Give me a kiss. I love you. I'm gonna talk all about that, Linda, okay? Will you shut the door, baby? Almost done. She drew me a picture.
That's awesome.
Really, very nice, yeah.
Oh, she's adorable. She's adorable.
Thank you.
As she grows up, John, it's so cool to see.
Yeah, it is.
And Lincoln.
She's gonna be like Deborah.
That's right.
Mighty warrior.
Mm-hmm. Leading other women to God.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Well, 27 here.
Yeah. How about John?
Well,
you want to slam dunk it?
I can slam dunk
Do
this. All right, here we go. 27. When David arrived at Mahanaim, he was warmly greeted by Shobi, son of Nahash, who came from Rabbah of the Ammonites, and by Machir, son of Amiel, from Lo Debar, and by Barzillai of Gilead from Rogelim. They brought sleeping mats, cooking pots, serving bowls, wheat and barley. Again, let me read that again. Wheat, Cody Gergen, wheat and barley.
Hilarious.
Oh, that's great. He did make a good point, though. Flour and roasted grain, beans, lentils, honey, butter. Sorry, there's a comma there. Honey, butter, sheep, goats, and cheese for David, and those who were with him, for they said, quote, "You must all be very hungry and tired and thirsty after your long march through the wilderness." Well, that was nice of them. This looks like an amazing feast.
Yeah, remember I'm telling you, the heart of the people are to David, right? And so it's amazing. They honor this guy everywhere he goes.
Well, they know. They know.
Yeah.
They know that David's God's chosen king.
Wow, you hit the nail on the head there. They do know. You know, they remember his victories. That's the thing. Some of these people, they know who David really is. He's a mighty warrior. Remember, Absalom wasn't there. Of course, he's heard the stories. But David killed Goliath. Absalom had not been born yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, David killed thousands and thousands and thousands, and they celebrated him throughout all Israel. Absalom wasn't born yet, or he was a baby. So look out, buddy. That's why you got to remember, just because you're here in the here and now, and you're looking at the right now scenarios, sometimes you don't realize who you're dealing with. And this is man's God, the anointed King David. Absalom is not anointed by God, and he's a false commander here. So,
mic check 1 2. Do I sound different now?
You sound very close and clear.
What was I before?
You were loud. It sounded like you were in the room,
I bet you can hear the music now. Ready?
probably.
Ready? Watch. Yeah, it was my Skype. I think I had you on my. I might have been coming through you on my computer and the listeners on the mic here.
Gotcha. You had to merge the sound.
Yeah, that's all it was. Well, Brian, you want to pray? No, I prayed. You
I
prayed.
prayed it in. You want to pray it out?
Dear Lord, thank you so much for bringing us together on this amazing Wednesday morning. This is the greatest day of our lives. Man, we have breath in our lungs. We're here. Every day is such a blessing. And we just are so grateful and thankful. Thank you for your word. Give us strength for the day. Keep our swords sharp. We love you dearly. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow morning. Let's see. Chapter 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're doing it.
We're doing it. It's exciting. So have a great day, everybody. Brian Neitsch, always a pleasure, and we'll see you guys back tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Central Time. And God bless.
Give me